Hi, everyone. It's really good to see that some of our remote learners are on with us. I'm President Barbara Altman. Some of you may not have met me yet, and I'm very pleased that you're on the other side of the screen, even if you're not here on campus with us. You may be interested to know that many of us are still working remotely a lot of the time as well. I'm in my office in Old Main right now, but I don't spend a whole day here. I'm still working off-site a lot of the time. So in many ways, we're sharing your experience, even though we have about 1,400 students in residence with us. I want you to know that you are always at the forefront of our thinking. You are far from an afterthought. We plan everything with our remote learners in mind this year. You're a very important piece of the student body for us. We want to make sure that your classes are working well. We took a lot of good advice from the survey that we distributed at the end of spring term about how remote learning was going, and we made a lot of changes accordingly to be responsive to what you told us about your experience for those last 5 weeks of spring term. And the very fact that we have a program, an academic curriculum that we are delivering in a fully hybrid way was meant so that we could make sure that your educational experience was full of integrity, was rich, was the same kind of F&M education that we offer even when you're here on campus with us. So usually you hear a lot from me. This time I'm mostly going to be sitting back and listening and learning with you. And we have a small enough number that we can turn this into a pretty informal conversation. But I would like those of us on campus here, the people who work in student affairs and who are available to you to help, to introduce themselves, and from academic affairs as well, to introduce themselves and give you some sense of the many different ways we can support you while you're learning remotely, and just to make sure that you're aware of what's available to you here and how much we want you to be connected. So I'm now going to pass off to Interim Vice President Dr. Deb Moriarty, who is our Interim Vice President for Student Affairs. So Deb, I'm going to turn off my video right now, and I'm going to turn it over to you. Here's Dr. Moriarty.
Thank you, President Altman. Good evening, students. I wish I could see your beautiful faces. We are really delighted to have you join us this afternoon. Clearly, this pandemic has turned the world upside down, and it's turned colleges and universities as we've known them in a new way. And we thought that what we would do today is really spend some time with you talking a little bit about the kind of resources and opportunities that are available to you. I think, communication with students is always challenging. I think we either over inundate you or maybe you don't know where to find the right information. So one of the intentions of this webinar this afternoon is really to help you understand that there are resources and opportunities for you to become engaged outside of the classroom so that you still have this sense of being part of the larger community. We have 3 panelists with us. Amelia Rouser, who serves as the Associate Dean of Faculty and Professor of Art History. We have Beth Throne, who is the Associate Vice President for Student and Postgraduate Development and serves as an adjunct professor. And Susan Noel, who is our care coordinator, and she'll talk a little bit about what that means that she's the care coordinator. So we have been, as President Altman said, we've been listening to your feedback. So we want to address some of the concerns that we've heard so far. We also are not going to have, I'm not sure we're going to have a Q&A because we have resources that we want to share with you, but we are certainly going to point you in the direction of people who can answer additional questions. It really is an unprecedented time, and I think that's one of those words that's probably really overused. But we are charting new territory, and I think that our hope is that we can do this together, that by us, trying some things and you giving us feedback and then you making suggestions, that's one of the ways that we're going to get out of this. I think I said in an email to students last week that this pandemic is going to be a hallmark, of a significant milestone of your development as a young adult moving into adulthood. It's something that you clearly will never forget, or as my daughter says, I can't wait to throw this at my kids when they say, why can't I go to the movies? And they're going to say, because I sat in the pandemic for 6 months. But you will find all sorts of ways to navigate this. We're creating a new normal. I think even when we come out of it, there will be a new normal, and you're part of helping to shape that. So we're looking forward to sharing with you ways that you can continue to connect with us on campus. So again, this one is specifically for the remote learners. Want to make sure that you know that we have not forgotten about you off campus. I have to say I've been on campus a little over a week, and I am incredibly impressed with the students who I have seen or met on campus or on Zoom. It is, Franklin and Marshall is clearly a very, very special community, and the resources here are unparalleled in terms of some of the other institutions that I've worked at. So we really want you to take advantage of all of that, and we'll have some features in here as a way of helping you, giving you an opportunity to talk to us, if you will. So with that, we're trying to be mindful of time. I'm going to turn it over to Amelia Rouser, who will talk a little bit about it from an academic affairs perspective.
Hello, everybody. I'm Amelia Rouser, and I think this is being recorded, and we hope it reaches a large number of students as we distribute the recording. But in the actual live Zoom, we just have a few of you, so I do encourage you to definitely unmute your video so we can see each other. I'd like to give a shout out to Nora Clifford, my advisee. I'm happy to see you here. I think this is our third Zoom this week, Nora. We had an advising session, then we both turned up at the Humanities Now session on Wednesday, and now this. So I know that Nora's taking good advantage of all of the opportunities to connect remotely. So she can probably give us advice about what are some good ways for students to stay connected. I wanted to just talk a little bit about the different and unusual academic calendar that we have this year because of the pandemic. As you all know, we made two major changes back in the late spring, anticipating that this was going to be an unusual year. One was that we asked the faculty to make all of their courses hybrid, meaning that they would be they would have at least a substantial portion of the course available online, and perhaps all of it available online, but that most courses would be taught with some in-person component, but also much of the course available online, because we knew we were going to need to be flexible and nimble. And we didn't exactly know that our sophomores weren't going to be able to come to campus, but we're very glad that we had planned ahead with this remote, with this hybrid learning style, because it enables remote learners to join. Now, is it seamless and easy? No, it's not. It's really hard. It's really been a steep learning curve for the faculty to learn how to manage in-person discussions and technology, and they've got the Zoom and they've got cameras, and sometimes the cameras are pivoting around and showing the backs of their heads, and it's very confusing, but everybody is trying really, really hard. And I had the pleasure today of guest teaching for a colleague. I taught in her class this afternoon. Her class was 100% remote, and so it was a Zoom situation like this. So, you know, it's all unusual, but the core of what we do is still there. It's still about connecting with our students, talking about ideas, and we can, you know, we would prefer to all be face-to-face, and we will be soon, but I'm extremely proud of all of us, students, staff, faculty, for what we've been able to achieve in keeping going with the core of what we're trying to do together, which is being together as a learning community, despite all of this chaos and horribleness that's going on in the world. We're truly keeping the light of learning going. And that's what scholars have done throughout dark times for millennia. And we're doing that now. It's important work. And I see how hard all the students are working and how hard all the faculty are working. We prepared a couple of whiteboards. If we want to use those, they can come up now. And this was as a way to just give everybody who's here a chance to maybe put in a couple of keywords about something that you've experienced. I'm going to ask you maybe to type in here on the whiteboard, students who are in the audience, what's one unexpectedly good thing about remote learning that you've encountered so far? And don't worry, I'll give you a chance to tell me about your frustrations in a minute. But if anyone would like to contribute anything, I think it's totally anonymous, so you can write whatever you want.
And to do that, do they go under view options at the top of their screen and then annotate? Is that right?
Someone tell me, because I don't know, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, I think you
Yes.
go to view options on the top next to the green bar and then annotate. Yep.
Thanks, Beth.
You bet.
Definitely more time with family and more time with our pets. Our pets are very happy with the pandemic. Our pets think like this should just go on forever, no problem. Um, it's nice to be able to intersperse our home and workspaces a little bit and to get to experience that in a different way. I wonder if some of you are having, you know, positive experiences of your families being more involved in what you're learning. Um, Quiet study space, yeah, that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. Even if we miss some of the sociability, we have the benefit of really being able to focus. And what I've heard from faculty is, you know, our students, because we've gone through this difficult time and not knowing if we'd be able to come together in this way, we're that much more appreciative to be together, even if we're not physically together, to be intellectually together, to be socially together. We really appreciate it and it's more meaningful to us. Should we go to the next one about frustrations? What's one challenge that you've encountered with remote learning? Balancing family with studies. A lot of faculty can relate to you on that one. It's really tough. That's the tough part about being at home and working at the same time. Motivation is also hard, yeah, because you're not in an environment that's necessarily telling you, giving you the cues to move through your day. And so you have to make your own schedule and really stay self-motivated. That's hard. Of course, missing our friends is probably the hardest part of this. I totally agree. I wanted to talk about one more element of what we're doing besides the hybrid and remote learning. I see, yeah, missing campus life, definitely. And not seeing the in-person students, yeah. When you're participating in a class and you have some students in the room and some are remote, you lose some of that ability to connect with one another. Yes, it is lonely and we miss you too. I see the one about professors less easily accessible. That's that I'm sorry to hear about. And it's certainly true that we miss something by not being able to run into one another. I've definitely noticed that. Like I don't run into my colleagues casually, and so I need to make a special effort to reach out to them and to set meetings. And so I would encourage you to do that as well. In some ways, it's easier to meet with your faculty member because it's just a matter of a Zoom. But in other ways, it's more difficult because you have to take that extra step of making that appointment. Before I pass it on to the next person, I wanted to say something about the module system, which is the other half of the big changes that we've made for this year. Besides blended learning, we changed the calendar, as you all know, so that we are having, instead of 4 classes spread over the whole semester, we have students taking 2 classes in the first half and then 2 classes in the second half. And we talked a little bit, there was a letter to the editor that we wrote in the College Reporter this week to try to explain it further. We've tried to explain it already a few times. It's a big learning curve also, just like the new tech. It's difficult for both faculty and students. It's a real adjustment right now. It feels much more intense. But I just want to reassure you that the change was made not to torture students or to make it harder, but really to make it a more humane, less fragmented way to learn together. We knew that the pressures and stresses on all of us from outside life were going to be intense this fall, and that the more we could help us to focus on fewer things, the more that would enable a sense of connection and deep learning. You're also in a class with a few people that you see almost every day. We thought that would facilitate better student-student relationships and less alienation. And finally, we just all remembered feeling so frazzled last spring when we were trying to cope with 4 different classes, each with a different faculty member, with different expectations, different learning platforms, and how chaotic that was. And we thought it would be much better to just do 2 things at a time. So we're we want student feedback about this. It's going to continue for this year, the whole year. And we also really urge you as the students to make the most of the modules. Be partners with your faculty members in making it work. Take advantage of what's good about the module system. We'll probably be going back to semesters in the future. So there are some good things about modules. Let's make the most of that now. And the things that are problematic, we'll work to adjust and to correct, to make sure that they're not hampering us too much. So if you need resources, your number 1 resource is your faculty member. Reach out to your faculty member right away. Remember too that all of our tutoring that is normally available is available online. In fact, it's almost exclusively online. The in-person students are also accessing it online. So our writing center tutors, our quantitative and science center tutors, our language tutors, all of those resources are still available to you. And so don't hesitate to reach out to your faculty members. They can connect you with those resources and they can kind of be the clearinghouse for you in needing help. Okay, I hope I didn't talk too much. On to the next person.
We can't hear you, Deb. Should I go? Okay, so my name is Susan Noel. I am the care coordinator and I run the DIP Cares program at Franklin and Marshall. And what the DIP Cares program is basically a one-stop shop to refer yourself or to somebody else. If you need anything, if you need to know about resources for all types of wellness. So I think one of the things that I've been most impressed by with Franklin Marshall is how quickly last spring, in the midst of all the craziness, we were able to shift all of our support resources and referral systems to an online version. And so I hope it makes you all feel better that we've had several months now to kind of perfect the referral system. And I would say all the resources that we have for all aspects of wellness are all available online because we had to do that last semester. And so now we've only gotten better at it. I also wanted to address, I don't know if any of you are like me, but I suffer from fear of missing out, FOMO. And I want you to know that I'm here, we're all here in Lancaster right now. I don't know how many are local, but walking through campus, it's not the same, so I saw a lot of you put in the whiteboard that Amelia just had up saying that you miss campus life. And we certainly do too. It's not the same like it was, but I think overall we're making the best of it. And we're always keeping in mind that you are at home, that you need resources too, and that you need support. As you can see, I'm at home, so we're all in this together. But I think something that another person had mentioned was working with your dog, being with your family, and trying to balance work and life. Another thing that's come out of this for me is just realizing that we're all human beings and we all have lives and we're all trying to make Zoom work, and we forget to unmute and we forget to do all kinds of things. But it's interesting watching other adults and professionals and students, and we're all making the same kind of mistakes and learning. But what I really wanted to get across is that we are here for you. And I think one of the biggest things to know is that there's all different kinds of wellness. And we did a wellness video that was available in the orientation guidebook. I don't know if anybody had a chance to see that, but one of the things I talk about in there is that it's really important to take care of all kinds of wellness. So there's academic wellness, and Amelia touched on a lot of the resources that are available for academic wellness, but there's also financial wellness. There's also social wellness. And then of course there's emotional wellness, and trying to keep all those things taken care of is really important, but we have resources for all of them. I think a big thing right now is time management. I've been talking to a lot of students who are struggling with the online environment. And then, like you were saying, managing family time, managing a social life. And we do want you to have a social life, even if you aren't here on campus. Our Office of Student Engagement and Learning has been posting a lot of activities. If you go to my Inside F&M to Student Life, and then on the very far right of that page, there's the virtual quad, and then there's always the events and activities that get updated every Friday. And I've also been getting a lot of emails about all the different activities, and most of those are available for our students who are all learning remotely right now. So I know that there's a lot of emails coming out about activities, but in a way that's a good thing. So it shows us that we're active, and there's ways for you to get connected socially with others. And I did a first gen panel with some students a couple of weeks ago, and one of the main things that came out of that was people talking about not overcommitting themselves, being really mindful of the fact that it is a lot to deal with everything that we have going on. So you don't have to do it all, but it is important to connect with others. So kind of finding that balance of who you want to connect with, and being really careful around that as far as what means a lot to you and which organizations do you want to get involved with. The opportunities are definitely out there. So I wanted to going back to wellness, talking about, I really want to focus on the emotional wellness part. And can we bring up the whiteboard for people to have an opportunity, for students to have an opportunity to describe some of the emotions that they've been having in these last 2 to 3 weeks. Just one word descriptions of kind of what you've been feeling. Is that going to be the only one? Yeah. 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 Yep. This seems about right. This is what we've been hearing from a lot of the students, is definitely the anxiety, definitely obviously feeling isolated. It's hard to take care of your wellness when you're not socially doing what you normally do, overwhelmed with just a completely new environment and system, and then stressed out. So in the emotional wellness part of the video that I put on Guidebook, we talk about when to be concerned for yourself or when to be concerned for others. I think that these are all very normal things. And making sure you know that you're not alone in feeling all of these, that all the students, a lot of the faculty and staff are all feeling this way. And kind of knowing when to seek help and to reach out. So whenever there's, if you're finding it hard to show up to things, to show up to your class, to get your work done, we want you to know that you can refer yourself to Dip Cares. We are here for you. So it's a pretty simple process. If you go to Dip Cares on the F&M webpage, there's a referral form, and you can just put in your name, and you can put down one of the issues that whatever you're dealing with, and one of our Dip Cares members will get back to you, and then we make sure that you know what is available for whatever you're going through. I wanted to let you know that the Student Wellness Center is it's where a lot of our students are going right now for therapy and for counseling, and every student is entitled to 8 sessions. If you're out of state, please still call the Student Wellness Center and set up an appointment. We can help you figure out help for where you are. We had to do this back in the spring. We had students going all over the world, really. So our biggest thing is that you feel connected and that you have somebody that's kind of supporting you along the way, helping you get connected to the help and the resources that are out there. And if you kind of don't even know where to start, that's why I'm saying Dip Cares comes in And we will offer assistance and reach out to you or call you and figure out where you need to go. I wanted to say that just a couple of closing words, that it's okay to not be okay right now. That's completely normal. And if you don't feel okay, that's all right. But if you feel overwhelmed by not being okay, then also know that there's help. Your house deans are available, your HAs are available. If you have friends on campus, reach out to them and let them know so they can guide you to help or to a resource that you need. And make sure that you're getting outside if you can. The campus has been kind of quiet, and it's weird walking across campus because it's been a little empty, and we want to make sure that students know that it's important to get out, obviously safely, 6 feet apart with your masks on, but it's so important for your mental health to step back from the computer, to step outside, and to take a break. I know that sometimes the Zoom and the videos and yeah, just looking at a screen seems endless, and so it's we got to be conscious about how much we're doing that. The other resource I wanted to quickly tell you about is time management. If you're struggling with the time management piece, and that includes all of it, that includes taking care of yourself, socializing, finding time to do your work and attend class, please reach out to our learning support services. We have peer academic coaches who will sit down with you and try to figure, they're upperclassmen who will sit with you and try to figure out your schedule. They're going through the same thing. And then the other thing I wanted to let you know is our wellness education programs also have peer health advocates that are, I think there was something posted on our Instagram page. And those are students who will schedule private appointments with you and just talk to you about whatever you're thinking about. If you don't feel comfortable going right to DIPKers, or you don't feel comfortable going right to the Student Wellness Center or counseling services, you can start with a student. And I think what's nice about the students is that they've been there, they're in your shoes right now, and they want to help. So they signed up specifically for the Peer Health Advocate Program to be there for you. So if you have any questions about that, you can go to our wellness programs page, and Catherine Wanner is our wellness education and sexual violence prevention director, and she's available to help too. So just don't hesitate. We're here and we care about you.
Thank you, Susan. Sorry, I was having trouble unmuting myself. Next, we're going to hear from Beth Roan.
Hello, I am Beth Roan, class of 95, Go Dips, and also the Associate Vice President of Student and Postgraduate Development. I actually want to start for the students who are live on the call. Can you chat in, and I'm assuming everybody can chat, so bottom of the screen, you have those 3 little dots, more. Can you please chat in your class year? I just want to get a sense of the class years who are on the call live. Sophomore, go 2023. Keep going. I'm gonna read them as we are going through here. So I am going to give a general introduction, even though I'm seeing sophomores and I'm seeing different classes. What do I do? So I have the pleasure of leading student and postgraduate initiatives at F&M, and among them and included is overseeing the Office of Student and Postgraduate Development, and that the charge of that office and the charge of the wonderful team is to help prepare you for life and not just work, right? And that also includes student employment, and how can we use student employment aspirationally to also provide opportunities. A lot has been disrupted. I know we're hearing student employment, we're hearing coming to campus, we're talking a lot about what life is like. In March, my office, and I'm just gonna call it by its name, is OSPAGOD, by the acronym, if you'll permit me. So we moved 100% virtually. And we are actually continuing today 100% virtually, so that we can provide you with as much access and opportunity in a way that's safe and robust. So no matter your time zone, and your availability and your needs, we've been working steadily. So what I'm going to do is just talk a little bit about what you can expect and then ask some further questions if that's okay. We have been working in adding more time slots for advising appointments that span outside what traditionally would be the range of appointment times for career advising, coaching, and whatnot if you were on campus. So you should see that on the ASPA website, on our weekly newsletter that comes through, just to give you easy access to those. Why would you want to take advantage of those? Taking an advantage of an appointment early, even if you have no idea, right, what you want to do or what you want to think about, it's important for us to get to know you. As we get to know you, your interests, what you're thinking about academically, your pathways, it is not uncommon that an advisor will say, I'm going to choose a name, Tegan, or Nora, or Audrey, or other people, right, on the call, Josh. It's not unusual that someone would say, you remind me of this person. Do you mind if I introduce you? And that is the way that we engage you, and especially right now, right, with a broader F&M community who may be able to give you advice, mentor, suggest, give you that what I wish I knew as a sophomore, junior, senior, first year student. And so that's why those coaching appointments are available. And just so you know, you can take advantage of them without any expectation that we're going to say, well, I can't believe you don't have it figured out. We're expecting you not to have it figured out. And if you have it figured out, it's our job to kind of push and pull at it. You can also expect virtual drop-in hours, and we're kind of playing with that to see how that works. So if you have a 15-minute appointment, or you don't want to marry a longer appointment, you kind of want to date it, and you want to go into that virtual drop-in, it's a great time to do that. So that's one way we're adapting. I would say the most significant way we've been adapting, just to make sure you know that we are here to support you in this crazy COVID-19 labor market disrupted and reshaped environment, is by adding two things. Number one, programs. We have been listening, working with each of your class leaders and their boards in developing opportunities for you to engage with the topics that you're telling them, and will continue, yes, to tell them you need. Alumni panels, very easy in this environment. I mean, usually we pay them for lodging, they come here to campus, and we get them all set. It is a much easier lift, if I can, for alumni and parents and employers and friends of the college to take a moment, dial in, and be with you. And so next week we're running an F&M Alumni of Color and Law panel for students and alumni of color and allies, talking about the unique challenges to navigate F&M to a path in law. We invite you all to attend. It's going to be a relevant discussion, no matter if law is top of mind or not. We're going to have an F&M in finance panel. We're planning F&M in entrepreneurship. So a lot of different opportunities for you to tune in and participate as much as you want in these panels. Other things we're planning to get you set, for those who are thinking about, what do I do to find a job? What do I do to secure opportunities? How do I build a network? We're going to be running a series of programs with the assistance of the alumni board in helping connect you with F&M alumni and parents who have raised their hand to help. Where can I find those people now, Beth, until these programs run? Great question, the True Blue Network. I am grateful to your class leadership who ran campaigns in August to have as many people from the classes join the True Blue Network and the class groups. Beth, what's the True Blue Network? I'm glad you asked. The True Blue Network is an online F&M only community where there are alum and parents and friends of the college who have raised their virtual hands to help you. You can search them by identity, you can search them by major, you can search them by affinity, by class year, by location, by industry, by field, and also by the way they're willing to help. We have people who have said, you know what, if you're moving, relocated, or in this city where I live, I'm happy to have a conversation about being in the city. If you want to job shadow, if you want to talk about negotiation or mindfulness or just what I do, here's my hand. And so that's the True Blue Network. On the True Blue Network, we are actually just added 2 modules I'm super excited about. One of them is a job referral module. This is where alumni, parents, and friends of the college can refer jobs right to you. They can post still on Handshake. That's our wonderful job posting system. We get hundreds of jobs and internships and experiences daily. But there are times alums say, do you know what? I know of a job, but I'm not the hiring person. Or I know of a job and we're not posting it in that beautiful, massive Handshake system. I want to go right to F&M. And now we have that. Beth, where do I find that? True Blue Network under the Opportunities tab. We've had multiple internships and jobs come in. Look, in the next couple of weeks, we're doing nice little pushes. You're going to see those through the year. A great opportunity to get you set up in this COVID-19 environment. So a little bit there about the True Blue Network. You'll also see coming from us life skill series. And so credit, budget management, what you need to know about investing now. We're going to talk about financing grad school if that you think that's in your bailiwick down the line. So a lot coming up. We are going to record. Beth, where will I find the recordings? Great question. Every week in the OSPGOD newsletter. How do I know where that's coming? In your inbox, I'm telling you, it hits 5 o'clock p.m. Yes, we schedule it. 5 o'clock p.m. on Sundays, and it's going to say just for you from OSPGOD, and it's going to have this couple-week window. That's where you can find out what can you tune into students virtually that week. What recordings can you access that you may have missed, right, for whatever reason? What opportunities can you apply for right now? And then special initiatives like signing up to present at a summer experience fair or some other things that are coming down the pike. I'm super excited, especially sophomores. I'm excited for all classes, but I can tell you there's a couple things I happen to know since I'm seeing tons of 23s come in. Some pretty big and exciting things coming down for your class, particularly this is a big year for you with major declaration and other pieces, and the college is working diligently and deliberately on providing some supportive resources just for you. So super exciting stuff. So with that all said in my little spiel, and thank you for chatting in class years, may I ask respectively if we can put that whiteboard up. And here is the question I have for you students. And I'm going to give you a little context and time to think as you're reading. There is so much noise, I think, coming in email and social media in different ways. The question that I have for you is, how do you prefer to learn about upcoming programs and opportunities? And I'm going to talk through as you're talking through, which is a bad habit, but I just want to say one more thing. Imagine we're offering the program you've been waiting for your entire time at F&M. How are you going to learn about it? What do you prefer? So please chat that in, or not chat. Whiteboard it in. Again, under view options, annotate. How do you prefer to learn about upcoming opportunities and programs? Emails and info sessions. I will tell you, I will try for the sexy job titles, like for the seniors, what you need to know now to land a job for graduation. I'm trying to cut through, right, those titles that don't prompt you to open. Email. I have to tell you, so here's a funny thing, right? So if we're talking, we use a system that I can see, right? If it's opening. I do see, there's many people who think that I think students don't read or can't read all their emails. I don't think you can, but I know if you're watching for it, you will. So Beth, how can I tell if it's coming from OSPGOD? It's going to be from my name, or it's going to be for OSPGOD, or there will be a title that's pertaining to the subject matter that I just talked about. Do open, do ask. And if I can leave you with this, right, as we're rounding out a time here, suggest. If you're like, why isn't F&M offering this? And if it's in the realm of career, personal, and professional development. So career can be purpose, calling, vocation. Like, what am I going to do over the summers after college? How do I figure out what I'm good at, my skills, my talents, my currency? You have to spend your currency in what you do every day, or you're not going to find life meaningful. I will tell you that right around. So that's your professional, personal. If they're personal, professional, if they're life skills, they're like, why isn't the college taxes? And that's how we did a taxes workshop last year. We did what you need to know now about taxes. And it was packed and it was wonderful. Yes, on our financial literacy series, I will make sure we repeat that again. I've already had my dear friend who did it last year is going to repeat it for us. And, but if there's anything, email. It doesn't have to have a lot of context. You don't have to ground it. You can tell me. Your class board is going to be collecting things. So please do let us know how we can best help. We are here for you, no matter where you are, no matter your time zone. F&M is more than a campus. It is a community. Sometimes I say cheesily, it's FNMLA, but know that we're here to support you.
Great, thank you, Beth. I would invite the panelists to come back on the screen with us. Josh, I know there's 2 Joshes on here, but Josh, I don't know if you have the ability to let us see the faces of the folks that are participating, but if you do, that would be great. So yeah, I think all the panelists have said this, and I'm just going to reiterate it. We miss you too. It is really, really strange to be on a college campus without students around. And we're delighted that you will be rejoining us in the spring, and we'll look forward to that time. I'm going to ask the panelists if they have any pieces of advice, forward-thinking ideas, anything that you want to add to the conversation as part of the closing.
I'll pop in, last in, first out, right? This is the time, I think a lot of people are feeling lonely, they're feeling stressed, they're feeling overwhelmed, right? This is our interaction. I'm not pretending I have kids running in and out, and I'm shocked that I haven't had that happen during the time we've been together. Reach out. Alum will take your call. They will answer your email. I will tell you, they're looking to reconnect and re-engage your faculty, your staff, colleagues, even sending a note, right? You know how you pass it on? Even sending a note to a Connections One course member you haven't seen, that happenstance that used to happen on Hartman Green that you may miss, of walking across and seeing someone you didn't realize you missed them until you saw them, right? You may not have remembered, oh my God, I had this class with you. Send them a note and just say, I was just thinking about you. Beth, that's creepy. It's not creepy if you phrase it right, but it's more just reaching out and just reaching out to people and connecting. I tell you, people are craving it in a way. And if I had to put an Ospagad spin on it, it's a great time to build a network of people who will be there for you long after you graduate, because they share this affinity to F&M. So that would be my closing advice.
That's great. So while it was a while ago, I can remember being a sophomore, and the thought of reaching out to an administrator or an office or a faculty would have mortified me. We're giving you permission to do that this community is here for you. And if you reach out, we will be talking to you. So in some ways, this will be one of the good outcomes. It's going to build your confidence in interacting with people who are seen in more senior leadership positions or faculty. That's how it's going to be when you graduate, interacting with people that you work with. So please take advantage of that offer to use email. And I'm really impressed that the number of you that say email is your most preferred way of getting information. Students want to convince me that it's Instagram, but there are some really great things being posted on Instagram. I downloaded the other day @ClubCouncil, just simply @ClubCouncil, and all of the student organizations are posting things all the time, all day, about different organizations, recruiting members, things that are happening on campus. So we need to figure out how to take advantage of these virtual opportunities while they are our best way to link back into the campus community. Susan, Amelia, President Altman.
Thank you. If you don't mind, Vice President Moriarty, I'm going to jump in just for a moment.
Please do.
One of the things that has occurred to me, and I talked about this a little bit yesterday in Common Hour, although not explicitly, right now it feels like this is going to last forever. It just feels like we're stuck in this odd form of living and learning right now. But look at it this way, we're halfway through Module 1, right? And we're well into spring, we're well into fall term. Things are changing rapidly. And we don't know yet what the spring is going to look like, but don't give in to that feeling that this is all there is or this is what it's like. And also, it's that the best way to break isolation is to do exactly what my colleagues have just been suggesting, which is to reach out to somebody else, because we're all feeling this sort of crazy, lonely stress. So if you send just a nice note, just a hey, how are you, to someone, I guarantee you're making that person's day. It would make my day. And that person is almost certainly likely to get back to you, and you will be setting up that network that that Beth Throne was talking about a minute ago. So if we can take the initiative to break through this remote quality that we're all feeling, it really makes a huge difference. Think about how you can brighten somebody else's day.
Great advice. Amelia, did you want to add something?
I guess my advice, I'm just thinking about the modules. As President Altman said, we're now already halfway through module 1. They move quickly. And so as you're thinking about approaching the second half of the module, just remember that you're doing fewer things, but you need to keep focused on those 2 things. That's really the secret to success in the module, is keeping on top of the work. Remember that every day you have to prepare for the next day. You have to really stay on top of your assignments. And if you can just, if you can switch your attention from doing many things to doing fewer things more deeply, I think that that will be a good approach for academic success. When you need flexibility, your faculty have been, we've all been in conversation with one another about the need, everyone's need for flexibility. So just reach out and ask. And finally, remember that as I said before, we're an intellectual community together. Everyone wants you to succeed, and beyond success, or as maybe as part of that, is truly your intellectual growth and engagement. That's really at the core of what we're doing here. So be focused on what you need to do there, and be focused on finding partners to help you grow intellectually.
Thank you, Amelia. Susan, anything else to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, again, I know I've talked about my personal FOMO that I have, and it's very real. And the other thing is holding ourselves up to really high expectations. Not that you should lower your expectations for yourself, but it's okay if you're not, you know, doing things like you normally would do them. I look at the first years, and you know, the first semester, the beginning of the first semester can be a little rough because it's an adjustment, going from what they were used to before to this new environment. And it's no different for all students this semester, that this first module might be a little rocky in trying to learn a new system, and that's okay. So sometimes we have to adjust our expectations of ourselves and what we want to get done. And it's okay if you have to say no to certain things so you can focus on this one thing. We're all doing some form of that. Definitely not doing as many things as we would be in normal times. So just be kind to yourself, and be patient with yourself as well.
Great, thank you, Susan. So I hope that one of the things that you're taking from this is that we're here for you, right? These are senior leaders on this campus who are here to make sure that you have get the most out of your experience as an F&M student. Doesn't matter if you're an hour from here or 4 hours from here or across the globe. We hope that you can now put some names and faces together so you at least know. You've probably all written our names down. If nothing else, you can reach out to us for follow-up, and we look forward to hearing from you. If you have additional questions, we purposely didn't do questions and answers on this because we wanted to have an opportunity to share what we've been sharing, but please feel free to follow up if you have follow-up questions. With that, I would like to thank, I do want to say that there are very few students that are on a webinar right now, a Zoom call, with the president of their college as part of that panel. So President Altman, thank you so much for your time. Again, the dedication to the student experience and your learning and growth is really, really taken very seriously here at F&M. So thank you, Beth and Susan and Amelia, and of course, President Altman. And we hope you enjoy the rest of the evening, and we look forward to connecting with you when you get on campus in spring, unless you take advantage of emailing us before then. So thank you, everyone. Have a good night.